That's okay.
Government accountability, no. Agenda number 12. Okay, Brian, Adam Shaw. Put the first speak after issue 13.
I didn't see him. No.
I'll give everybody a second chance here. Sorry about these Lorain County Commission, what we got here. We're going to change it up today. Just saying agenda or having nothing on here. What I'm going to do is we're going to allow public comment during each and every item on the agenda today, since we're talking about levies and stuff. So if anybody else would like to speak, for example, if we're going to be talking about appointing various members to LEPC and you want to talk to that item, we'll let you talk at that point. So I'm not going to go, hey, everyone talks at first. We're going to have everybody speak in regards to the actual agenda item. That way we can keep us all on subject. Is that okay? Does anybody else want to speak? Wow, that's the quietest it's been. Okay. So I'll probably ask those that filled out the paperwork, if you wish to speak to any of these items, I'll let you speak at that moment, okay? So, and I'm sorry, I know, who is it? Michael? Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing public, this isn't a regular meeting where we allow, just public speaking and whatever. It's just, we're sticking everything to the agenda today, okay? So if there's something you want, just let me know, okay? And I think Aiden, you too, you put agenda, is there something, one of these agenda items you want to speak to? Yeah. Okay, so just raise your hand at me when you're ready. Other than that, I think everybody else had agenda items on there, so. Anybody else want to speak? That's fine, okay? Okay, you guys ready? Okay, today is August 1st, 2023. It's 5 o'clock, Tuesday. Welcome to the Lorain County Board of Commissioners meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Moore?
I am here.
Mr. Riddell?
Here.
Mr. Hahn? Here. We have a quorum. Number 9, you want to start there?
Yep.
Okay. Board business, number 9, declare it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for .50 mil additional for 5 years for Lorain County 911 Agency for the November 7, 2023 ballot, commencing on the duplicate year 2023 for collection in 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
We had the 911 presentation last week. Does anybody in the audience wish to address this levy? Okay. And commissioners, any discussion? Seeing none.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Number 10, declare it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for .25 mils additional for the 5 years for the criminal justice services under section 307.45A7 for the support of the county crime drug lab and section 307.45A6 county coroner for the support of Lorain County and placed on November 7, 2023 ballot, commencing on the duplicate year 2023 for collection 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Anybody here wish to discuss? Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Number 11, appoint various members to Lorain County Emergency Planning Committee, effective August 15, 2023 through August 14, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Number 12, providing public notice regarding consideration for taking action to prohibit large solar facilities, economically significant wind farms, and large wind farms in the unincorporated territory of Lorain County, Ohio, pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 303.5A. This meeting will be held September 5th, 2023 at 5 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Is there anybody here that wishes to discuss it out in the audience?
I signed up.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioners. Brian Baker, 49822 Greystone Drive, Brownhill Township. Can you tell me how this forum is going to be on September 5th for this meeting? Like, is it just going to be an agenda item that you're going to get 2 minutes to speak on, or is it going to be a public
It's going to
hearing?
be a public hearing.
Okay.
I was going to talk about it before. If you
Okay,
want.
I just want
If
to
you
know,
want to come
like.
back up, you can come back up after I speak.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
then
Brian?
that'll be good, then
Okay.
I'll just wait.
You want to say something first, or want me to read?
No, go for it.
Okay. In June of 2021, the 134th Ohio General Assembly passed Senate Bill 52, legislation that gives a Board of County Commissioner permissive authority to oversee site selection requests from renewable energy generation facilities in the unincorporated areas of the county. Prior to Senate Bill 52, the state vested exclusive authority and oversight for siting, operating, and decommissioning of all energy generation facilities with the Ohio Power Sitting Board, the OPSB. Local zoning laws did not apply. With the passage of Senate Bill 52, commissioners can declare certain parts of the county off limits to renewable projects, and they can deny requests from developers for individual projects. This authority is discretionary and is unrelated to any regular zoning laws that may be enforced at the township or county level. If commissioners choose not to take any action, that developer may proceed and file an application to the OPSB after 90 days. When a project applies to the OPSB, Senate Bill 52 also allows a county commissioner and a township trustee from the project to serve as ad hoc members of the OPSB. These renewable energy development projects are complex, long-term undertakings, which often are controversial. Commissioners can choose to become involved in the siting process, or they may choose to become involved only through the appointment of the ad hoc member to the OPSB. Commissioners will need to decide whether a proactive or a reactive approach best fits the needs of this county. We are taking the position to be proactive on this, and we're having a public hearing on September 5th. This is part of the process. We have to have a notice, and then I think in 30 days, I know you just we're reviewing it.
At least 30 days, yeah.
At least 30 days, in which we can have these public discussions. We have to notify, I know Teresa's got to send a ton of letters out.
They're going out tomorrow. So
They're going out
all-
tomorrow so that we can,
Schools, libraries, and all 34.
yeah, political subs of it, yeah. Okay, Brian, do you have any other questions?
I just see this comes up, and I just hope that we don't take a position that we're prohibiting any of this work, because you're asking me to pass, like, a lot of levies just came up, and my profession is being an electrician. If you look, every one of them on there is about an electrician. So I hope that we're not going to take a position, because it's kind of saying, providing public notice to do this, and I know what kind of happens when they go through them is, we're going to say we're going to pick and choose where things are going to go. You know what I mean? We're going to put in a solar plant or whatever happens, and I just hope we're not going to take a position that we're going to say we're not going to put them in anywhere that's unincorporated.
Well, this is basically the debate in regards to the unincorporated areas, because
Okay.
there is no regulation in regards to that. We
Because it
can
used to
eith-
go under the House Siting Board,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
mean. So
I
either we
understand
can
it.
be on the siting board, or we can take control here and help participate in,
Yeah.
in the process, so.
I mean, there's a lot of contractors that are represented, like the union I come out of, that do this work.
I may
and I
ask you
think-
for a lot of advice then, since
Well,
you probably
I mean,
sound like.
I think though, and if you just look, the Supreme Court just ruled in favor of Erie and Huron
Mm-hmm.
to be able to start putting these in. And I just think if we're going to do it, we should do it in the right way. We should make sure there's local people on the jobs, which I've
Correct.
always said to you guys, and we should keep those dollars here locally and not let people come out of state to do this work.
And I hope this is part of the steps to control that.
Okay. So there'll be a notice going out that anybody that wants to come to that forum can speak, correct? For or against, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So how do you get on to speak for or against it?
Be just like a regular meeting.
Yeah, we haven't set that structure.
So
at all.
what'll be the timeline? It's not going to be 2 minutes,
No,
I
it's going to
hope.
be a public hearing.
Okay.
So there'll be,
Okay.
Brian,
yeah.
Yes.
you need to look at this, this is not about whether there's an endorsement of solar power or wind power. It's about the zoning, because the state controlled the process before, and now
Yeah.
they've relinquished that control, And now you're taking, but they've recognized the fact that most of the unincorporated areas are not very sophisticated with their zoning code. So this is a public hearing
I realize that.
process to make sure that everybody, if they want to
Okay.
do this, because, these types of facilities, they impact their neighbors.
Okay.
That's the reason we have zoning laws.
One quick question, is Lake Erie classified in this?
That is a question I am currently asking.
Because I mean, there's
Yeah,
been talk about putting windmills on Lake Erie for years,
Correct.
and it is in our jurisdiction because that's who we butt up to. So I mean, I'm just asking is if that's going to be in there, and then this piece of it, I wouldn't take no action until you get a clarification on that.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I had is the
Okay.
400 miles that the sheriff patrols out in the water. Is that part of the unincorporated area? And that's some of the questions we'll have answered.
We have to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you should really look into this because I mean, there is potential, and we don't want people coming in and run over and take over our cities or our
Correct.
townships or our areas, but we need to make sure that it's done correctly. So.
Correct.
So if when this comes out, where will the notice go out for this, about this hearing, Dan, that you said is going to go out?
September 5th.
No, I understand that, but you said they're going to put out,
She
they'll
just-
come out?
August 4th, it'll be in the Chronicle.
Okay,
And then I had to mail to all libraries, all school districts, and all political subdivisions.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time.
No, thanks, sir. It's nice to know you have it's a little bit of knowledge on that, right, Brian? He's, okay, do we need anyone else? Okay.
Commissioner Moore?
All right,
Commissioner Rendell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
13, declare it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for .50 mil additional for 2 years for Lorain County Sheriff and Jail for the November 7, 2023 ballot, commencing on the duplicate year 2023 for a collection in 2024.
so moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Let's see. I prefer to speak. Brian, want to speak for, I got,
Tim Bosley got it first.
Brian, yeah, you were here. Okay, yeah, you're up. Come on up. Captain, how are you?
Hi, Captain Bosley.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you for
Good
the
evening.
opportunity to come up here. I have a Sheriff Stemeti was not able to make it tonight. He had a previous engagement he could not get out of. So I have a letter from him I'm here to read. It says, I want to go on record of not supporting this proposed levy for the county commissioners on a 0.5 mil additional levy for 2 years for the Lorain County Sheriff and the Lorain County Jail for November 7th, 2023 ballot. First, I was never consulted on this levy or even what it was for. What do the commissioners mean for the county sheriff and jail? Is this for the jail or the general fund for the sheriff? The county commissioners have had no input with me nor my command staff of the jail or law enforcement staff on any proposals or what this is for. Just like we had no input on the first consultant Commissioner Moore hired without any type of bid process, Norm Hills LLC, and paid $70,000 for a study that left many things lacking and desired. Then they hired the same firm with no input from the sheriff or jail command staff, once again, with no bid, and are paying $7,500 a month for the first 4 months, thereafter $12,500 per month for what? This contract was signed by the county administrator, Armbruster. Second, I think this levy is very premature. We have no idea what the carryover the county will have at the end of the year is. How many levies are these current commissioners going to put on the backs of the citizens of Lorain County? They ran on a platform that the former commissioners placed a sales tax on and beat them to death in the newspaper articles they ran. Now they are attempting to pass several additional levies on property taxes. I will ask my friends, family, supporters, and citizens of Lorain County to vote this Lorain County Sheriff and Jail proposed tax down and vote no. Phil R. Stemeti, Lorain County Sheriff.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to add anything, or you're good? Okay, thank you, sir. What we got here? Oh.
Adam Shaw, President of the Deputy Association. I just had a few questions about the tax. In 2022 to 2023, Lorain County had a carryover of $24,684,000. Currently, right now, the projected revenue is outpacing the budget by about $4 million, which means we're bringing in, at the end of the year, almost $4 million more than projected, but you guys are trying to tax everybody for everything. Why?
That's
What-
not, because that's not true.
Okay, well, that's your opinion, but based
No,
off
I-
our accounting, that's true. So why are we shoving more taxes down the throat to the people when the county has the money? I mean, you guys bought a mall, right? 14 million for a mall that's doing absolutely nothing. But yet, we're gonna put more taxes on us. You got $500,000 in people sitting right there, and one of them is probably not needed, but that's okay, we'll spend more money on that, right? So we're still gonna continue to shove taxes down our throats, but you refuse to fund the sheriff's office. You refuse to give us the money that we're owed. And you know, Mr. Moore, I wanna remind you of a conversation we had on November 18th, 2020. We had a Zoom meeting with you and Commissioner Moore, or Commissioner Hung, with our union, discussing what your plans were when you got elected and all the great ideas you had, how much you supported us. And it was brought up about putting a garage over our sheriff's parking lot to make it safe for us to park and everything. And I believe your words were, that's why the county has the capital infrastructure account. And now you're refusing to use that account to fix things. So clearly you've lost your way, and you're here to fund your friends, fund your pockets, and who knows what else you want to do on the backs of this county.
Thank you. Who else? Did Aiden, did you want to speak? Did you go? Okay, Aiden.
Aiden Fogel, Sheffield Lake. So by my own independent research, through public record requests, without the benefit of assistance from anyone else, I believe that I have discovered the reason that Jeff Riddell rescinded the CCI radio contract.
This is about, no. This is not on the
about budget
agenda.
items.
This is not on
about
the
budget
agenda.
items.
It's not on the
Okay,
agenda.
you're going to censor my words?
You can come back next
This
week
is
and do your
about my-
usual campaigning for
this
Michelle.
is
But right
about-
now, it's about the
Okay,
jail.
will you let me finish?
I am. Go ahead.
Okay. And why he is giving the Lorain County Sheriff so much grief over budget items, number 13 on the agenda. It is because Jeff Riddell thinks that the cops try to screw him every time, as evidenced in the following Lorain County Sheriff's Department narrative 200103724 that I'm going to share in part today due to time constraints. While on patrol, this deputy observed a silver Ford SUV vehicle turn southbound on State Route 57 off of State Route 254. The vehicle was further observed to travel over the center line of the roadway on several occasions, nearly striking several other vehicles, also traveling southbound on State Route 57. The vehicle was stopped and personal contact was made with the operator, Jeffrey F. Riddell. Note, at first contact, Mr. Riddell was on his cellular telephone and advised his deputy that he was contacting his attorney.
If you're not going to talk about the agenda, you can stop campaigning for
about the
Michelle right
agenda.
now.
This is county
No,
business.
it's not about,
Sure it is.
Aiden, you've
Sure
been
it is.
campaigning for Michelle for
This
all
has nothing
year.
to do with Michelle
It
Hung.
does.
I didn't say Michelle's
You
name
have
one
been
time.
the voice for her
I
all
didn't
year,
say this
Aiden.
one
You've been
time.
the voice for her all
didn't
year.
say this one time.
No, he's done. He's done. He's done.
Then have me
No,
removed. Then have me
I can't
removed.
believe that you
Then
guys.
have me removed.
No, I'm not going to have you
Okay,
removed.
Mr. Riddell did
No,
exit his
no,
vehicle as
That's
requested.
Sheriff?
As Mr.
No.
Riddell exited
You know
his
what?
vehicle, he stumbled and required assistance of his vehicle to maintain a vertical position while walking to the rear of his
This has
vehicle.
nothing to do with the
Once at the rear of
subject.
Mr. Riddell's vehicle, he stated the following: "I'm not doing any sobriety tests. My attorney told me never to do any sobriety tests because you cops try to screw me every time."
Not true.
There you go. You think the cops are trying to screw you because they won't let you drive drunk and put people's lives in danger.
I can't believe they're applauding. Let's applaud the felon for defending the cops. Okay, let's talk about what's really going on here today, okay?
Do you have a question? Do you want to answer any of that?
No. We're here to talk about the jail. Here we go.
Your emails that you sent me make no sense.
Number one, the jail and the issue with the garage and everything else started because we all know the jail was in rough shape. In April of 21, we ordered to have a jail actually reviewed. That was started in April. We received that consultation back in October 29th of 21. It said we need a new jail. It's not Captain Obvious. You guys know it. We need a new jail. Or we're going to spend millions of dollars to do it. Well, it's a campaign year. They ordered another attempt to say we need another what do you call it, study, just basically another waste of money to do the same thing that we knew in October of 21. So what happened? It got pushed back because it's not an exciting campaign issue to promote money for a jail. So, again, it got pushed back until when? February and March of this year. We finally get it back. 85 million to 178 million. 85 million deferred, 178 million in actual new jail. I think those numbers were way off. We had another company, and those numbers are looking closer to be 70 to 80 million for a new jail. We're now moving forward and looking at how are we going to be able to afford to pay it. In the meantime, as I've said in March, that we need at least $3.5 million to fix the roof and the rooftops and the other issues at the jail, which we are aware of, but everything got pushed aside. So we kind of knew we were going to do that. We got $20 million sitting in a capital improvement fund that we're going to use that money because there's no way I'm going to put a tax on the people for this levy. If I got a sheriff that's not willing to support it, why would I put it on to people? If he's afraid to go out and tell everybody why he wants it, that's fine. I have no problem. I don't want to vote for another levy. I will be voting no today on this levy because I don't want it on the ballot. If you got a sheriff that's not going to support it, why should I do it? Show the last 5 years of what's going on, those 2 pages. Here's what's really going on with the numbers, okay? Do the, show that one first. Yeah, put that one on. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. This is the Sheriff General Fund. Pretty much it shows the budget and it shows what the actual spend is for the past 5 years. In 2024, it shows that there's a $9 million increase just in the Sheriff's General Fund. I wouldn't really, you know what, we could probably beat this up in November with the sheriff. We can go back and forth. That's fine. We can do that in November. Please put the other document in. The other document was prepared today. And this is a pretty good document. Hopefully people can see it. Probably not. We were trying to get big screen TVs today, but we couldn't get them installed for you guys today. This gives you a general idea of the last 5 years of what the actual spend of the budget, the jail, vehicle purchases, capital improvements, the total Sheriff General Fund spending. Now, we do have you do have other revenues coming in from the sales tax that goes directly to the jail. But this is basically what we're responsible for, which is the general fund. So it tells you, with the sheriff's budget in regards to the jail shortfall and his budget is roughly 17%. In 2020 we got, and 2021 some benefits from the CARES Act. But it's about 17%. Right now we're projected to go about 16% of the general fund. So what happened is we get hit with a 29% increase in the 2024 budget, okay? Well, when you get hit with that, you only have a small window to either debate this in November or at least have the public have an opportunity to say, hey, we need extra money for the jail. The sheriff and the department, you guys can go out and say, hey, we need extra money. We need it. That's fine. Well, in November, I don't have that opportunity. We have that opportunity today. Based on the pushback, I'm not willing to put it on the ballot, but I am willing to say this. The budget for 2024 for the Sheriff's Department is going to be around 16%. That's the average. It's not going to be 29%. But we do have the money the $5 million that's in the budget to fix the jail. We can pull that money out of the capital, out of the money that was set aside to build a new jail. So the money can come from there to at least fix the jail. So therefore, we really don't need the money for that. But a $4.1 million increase in salaries for the Sheriff's Department, in November, he's going to have to come back and explain that. So about 45 minutes prior to this meeting, Casey, after years, we finally got a itemized budget from the sheriff I got them written down here. And I would like to show this to the public, and not really to the public, okay? Here, throw this on. No, this is going to be for all the elected officials. Unfortunately, the sheriff decided, he's getting the brunt.
It's a bit small.
Well, it's going to be small, but it's going to be tough. Basically, what this is what we want, and we're not getting this from the other elected officials. So we're not picking on the sheriff. What we're picking on is the way accounting has been done in this county for the last 20 years. From now on, we're going to have a more detailed, and if you want a better screenshot, I can give it to you up here, sir. I can give you guys copies. You can take copies of it. Yeah, we can get you copies because, yeah, no, this is all stuff we just received from the sheriff 45 minutes ago before the meeting. So this is great. Casey's already talked to him. It looks like there's some shortages that we're going to have to do some requisitions for, which is great. The issue at hand is really at the end of the day is the public had an opportunity to participate. It doesn't look like they did. But the bottom line is I'm not supporting a levy for an elected official that's not going to support it. So that's fine. But in November, I'm basically going to be looking at, in November, you're probably looking more at a 16%, which has been consistent for the last 5 years in regards to your, in regards to that budget. So,
So, Mr.
Go ahead.
President, are you withdrawing your motion?
no, we're going to vote on it. Is there any other discussion? I'll give you guys copies. I'll put them out here. But these are the two copies that we received here from, where's the other two copies that I have? Okay, yeah, let me see those two. The people want copies, you guys, I don't have a problem giving these 4 pages out. There you go. And if you want copies, Amy, if you want to run copies for everybody, if that's easier,
All 5?
there should be 4 pages.
There's these
Do I have
two,
permission to speak?
and then there's
Ask a couple
these
questions? Am I able to do that?
There's these two and these
Why
two.
don't you give them a hot second to figure out how they're gonna make the copies?
And then just double copy.
I just have a couple questions, that's it, and I'll leave it alone, that's fine.
No, no, go ahead.
Probably about 5 or 6 questions, that's about it.
What we're doing is just basically, I'm trying to get you guys what you want here. Okay, these are the,
No, no, no.
there you go, there you go.
No, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Go ahead.
No, listen, babe, no, that's fine, that's fine.
Probably make
That's okay, no, seriously, let's be civilized, we'll be civilized. I just have a couple questions.
I need your name.
Have you been to the jail?
But you have to state your
I
name,
need your name,
sir.
please.
Eamon Willis, Worth Corrections, Lorain County Sheriff's Department.
Over the
Hi, how
past
are you, by
20
the way?
years, I have visited the jail several times for my
Okay, go ahead, I'll let you
for my
finish.
CCW and for others.
Okay.
So,
Have you been further? That's fine. Have you been
I have not been
further?
a resident.
Hold on. Have you been further than the lobby?
yeah, I've had a private tour with the sheriff
Have
back
you?
in the day. Yeah.
Okay. That's understood. Have you seen the malfunctions of the building while you were there? Any of that? Well,
Just from
I've
what I'm
worked
hearing
at-
from the COs, I'm hearing.
Okay, so I'm young. Like I said, I am a college graduate, stuff like that, and I'm around a lot of these guys every single day.
Yep.
And we risk our lives every single day to be in this facility. Now, the facility itself is completely and totally unsafe.
I agree.
By me saying this, however, because I do have a wife and children and stuff like that, it would be really sad and tragic if something happened because we couldn't receive the appropriate funding to fix the building and what's going on in our building every single day. Don't you agree?
Oh, I agree 100%.
Okay.
That's why we're trying to do something today.
Understood. I really do feel like, though, that that's not an honest statement.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, the numbers in which you placed up here, I kind of just don't believe them wholeheartedly. I don't believe that you guys are putting the money where it has to go.
That's not my call. That's the sheriff's call. He's the one that requested the budget.
Let's have conversation between the speaker, 5 people can't talk at one time.
Okay, you know what?
No,
You
that's
seem
actually
civilized. Go ahead.
no. We're all greatly civilized, but we're
Yeah.
absolutely frustrated because of the situations in which we have to work in every single day, and we really feel like we're not receiving the appropriate funding in which we are promised on your ends. And like I said, it's very difficult, The frustration is incredible. I mean, we have power outages all the time. We have all this stuff that's going on a consistent basis, and I'm really wish you guys would just visit our jail just for a day, a shift,
No problem.
and experience it. Seriously.
Well, the ORC says we're allowed to, but unfortunately, our consultant was not allowed to. And last Thursday, we were denied access to the jail.
Last Thursday, you were denied access to the jail.
You know what, Casey? I mean, you guys.
Do you have documentation on that? Is there a way to?
Yeah, I got an
prove
email.
that?
I got
You
an email.
Could you show us the email?
Not right now. I got it. I can get it for you. I'll
Yeah,
get you a
absolutely.
copy.
Pull
Yeah.
up the email, please.
And we'll get it for you.
I'd appreciate that.
You don't have to go through the public process. I'll get you the copy.
No,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
But,
Anything else? Are you
No,
good?
you know what? That's all. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Yep. Call the roll. Are you done?
Hang on a second.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
What we're doing here today is simply trying to get everybody what they say they need. About a month ago, the sheriff submitted a budget. Nobody argued about it. Nobody said it wasn't needed, but he submitted a budget that was $9 million more than this year's budget. And there's not $9 million in the budget of $73 million without taking the money away from all the other departments. We're not sitting flush. I dispute the fact that somebody thinks we got this huge carryover. By the way, the loan to the mall is a loan. And they're in the process of, let me finish. I didn't interrupt any of you. But they're not related. One is economic development, and it's a loan. You're asking for a $9 million increase in your budget. It's a $73 million budget. There's not $9 million in it. We've got a hangover from the ARPA funds being gone, and we have to get back to reality. Number two, of the $9 million, it was all of a sudden, the increase in the jail shortfall. For the public, there's a 0.25% tax that pays to about $12 million to fund the jail. It's an old tax, it's not sufficient, nobody said it is, but that deficit has been running about $3 million a year. Now it's projected next year for $12 million. Again, Sheriff gave us no explanation of how we got from 3 to 12, okay? So all we're doing is saying we don't have the money in the general fund. If the sheriff absolutely, positively needs these funds for his department to do his legal and moral duties, then we need to raise a tax. Now the sheriff came out and said he won't support the tax. Well, if we don't have the money in the general fund and he doesn't want to support a new tax, my question is, what are we going to do now? And I don't want to hear what's wrong. I want to hear on all these numbers, okay, and I'm sorry for the last speaker, but the numbers we're using came from the budget director who has the legal and the educational ability. He provides the budget. And we do have a carryover, but we can't spend that carryover. If we spend the carryover and we have none, the bond rating for the county goes up, and every loan that we have out there will become more expensive. Any new bond issue that we need, like the jail, will cost more money because we don't have reserves in case of a recession. And and as of the current projection, there's a pretty good chance until we get the third quarter numbers in, sales tax revenue this year will be $1 million less than last year because the economy has slowed down a little bit. Car sales have slowed down. A lot of sales tax comes from cars. So we're doing our job as a budget authority. We're not arguing with anybody, is the money needed? We recognize it's being wanted, and we have a job. If we're going to take money away from other departments, we have to justify it. If we're going to put a tax on the ballot, we have to justify it. The problem is the window is short. We're not trying to play games with anybody. If the sheriff needs that money in 2024, that tax has to go on the ballot in November of 23. To go on the ballot in November of 23, the deadline is August 8th, 1 week away. So we have to make a quick decision. If we're not going to support a levy, and we're not going to fight the sheriff, and it's not going to come out of $73 million, then it's time everybody decide, do we really need everything that's in the budget request from the sheriff, or what are we going to do about it?
The carryover is about $10 million, right, Casey? That's what I saw on the list. We've had over 50 appropriations from the Sheriff's Department this year, right? Appropriations are 50 items that were not included in the budget last year. Have we denied anything the sheriff asked? No. Thank you.
No.
How much was it? It was what, 457?
Approximately,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what the additional appropriations that have been requested
The
this year.
best thing that came out of this is our budget director is now communicating with the sheriff's budget people. We got what we've been wanting for months now, which is a breakdown of the budget, and this is what I'm letting the other elected officials know. We're asking the same thing from everybody. We want the breakdown of how much you're going to get. For example, like the SROs. You want to explain that? On how that's working? How you want like to? I would rather just give them the money day one and say, here you go. There's your $390,000 for your SROs. We're done.
Sure. So as you mentioned, we do have very great working relationship with the sheriff's or fiscal staff. And so we are working through a process to get away from transactional appropriations. As you mentioned, appropriations are increases in the budget. So what I believe we've worked out moving forward next year, I believe those will all be included in the budget right from the get-go. And then, as I mentioned, we're trying to get away from these. You mentioned the 50 appropriations; those are transactional appropriations. Trying to get a good sense of the budget right from the get-go, so we know those figures right from the start, and we're able to do forecasting and.
Right. And that's the key, so that everybody knows they get their money in January, February, and they don't have to continually every week ask for money. We want everybody to have what they need to run each and every department and each and every elected official without continually coming back to these offices and asking for $1,500 here, $40,000 here. But then when the emergencies do pop up, which they will, and that's when you start asking for the appropriations above and beyond the budget because you don't know.
Right. That gives us
you just don't know what's going to happen. So.
Having that knowledge of what's coming down the pike of the budget gives us the flexibility to react to those situations that you mentioned, those emergency situations, those unforeseen instances. If we have those numbers ahead of time, we have the flexibility to work and manage those situations as they arise. Yeah.
In November, when the elected officials come in to present their budget, nobody's in the room. So I do appreciate everybody coming out, and I hope to see you in November as we try to hammer out the budget for 2024. Because I do believe it's important that people participate in the budget process. Call the vote.
Commissioner Moore?
No.
Commissioner Rido?
No.
Commissioner Hung?
No,
Meeting's adjourned. Oh, I didn't get over to so, Amy, do you have any extras?
They're back there. Did any more? She did put them back there. I told her to make it.
Okay, all that paperwork's in the back from what we just talked about.
Thank you for your support. I was going to say at the end and say, by the way, I don't know how you can call in my head, because I can't figure out how to call in yours, but if you can tell what I'm thinking.
Again, the only guy here to defend it is a felon. That's what cracks me up.
Not here, I'm not going to sue the sheriff's department because of the DUI business. I'm not trying to sue the sheriff down. There's not $9 million. The conversation's about $9 million. I'm about my driving record, like 20 years ago.
I know.